Hello and welcome back to Trek on the Tube. This is yet again another Star Trek Discovery update video, the July 2017 update video to be precise, going over everything we learnt in June. You may have noticed I didn't do an update video in June going over everything that happened in May. That's because in May, CBS dropped the trailer for Discovery, so instead I reacted to that. I know it seems complicated, but it makes sense to me. So, what happened in June? Well, on the 2nd, TrekMovie.com released an interview with Meyer in which they managed to extract two very small pieces of information from him. The first one being an explanation as to how Star Trek Discovery will fit in Star Trek's current canon. He said when Brian Fuller invented Star Trek Discovery and conceived it, he found a niche in the chronology that allows for another stream. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea what that means. Another stream? Is that another timeline? Or is he just saying that the story they have won't conflict with existing ones from other shows? I really don't know. Anyway, the second thing Meyer talked about was a secret Star Trek project. That's all. We don't know what it is. All we know is he's working on it right now. Some actual news, however, dropped on the 19th when StarTrek.com officially revealed the schedule for Star Trek Discovery. There's already plenty videos on YouTube going over the schedule in depth, so you don't need me to read it for you yet again. All I'm gonna say is the pilot is gonna air on Sunday 24th of September in the US and Canada, and 25th of September in the rest of the world. I'll put a link in the description to the full schedule if you want to check that out. Now before we get into the really big stuff, I wanted to take the time to talk about Ted Sullivan and his Twitter activity. Ted Sullivan is one of the writers on Star Trek Discovery, and sometimes he takes the time to answer questions on Twitter. On the 20th, I, among a few others, exchanged a couple tweets with him. TrekMovie.com then created an article documenting all the answers and all the questions. You can check that out if you want. If you can't be bothered, all you need to know is he said there would be humor, drama, and great acting. I asked him if the show would resemble Game of Thrones in the scope of its storytelling, and he said yes. Now, the biggest chunk of news this month comes from Entertainment Weekly, or should I say, chunks. Starting on the 19th, they released 1 or 2 small articles a day, showcasing photographs, interviews with cast and crew. I'll put all the links in the description so you can check out all of the articles one by one if you want. Here, I'm just going to go over the articles briefly. On the 19th, showrunners Aaron Harberts and Gretchen J. Berg explained the 2 main reasons why the show was pushed back for so long, with the wait for Sonequa Martin Green to be free, and the creation and design of costumes, sets, and props. They went on to explain a couple things about sets and costumes, and one thing in particular really surprised me. They said the trailer shows the bridge of the USS Shenzhou, an entirely different and older ship than the Discovery. But the Shenzhou is already very technologically advanced. Interesting. I wonder what the Discovery looks like. On the 20th, Sonequa Martin Green explained her character is completely human and not half Vulcan as some people had originally thought. She says Burnham is the first human to attend the Vulcan Learning Center and the Vulcan Science Academy. On the 21st, this photo of Jason Isaacs as Captain Lorca on the bridge of the Discovery was revealed. He's described as a steely Federation starship captain who's considered a brilliant military tactician. On the 22nd, along with an interview of Sonequa Martin Green addressing racism, we got this photo of a transporter room. The design seems to be something we've never seen before in Star Trek, although we only get a glimpse of it. Most Star Trek fans, however, seem to focus on the phasers, which look very original series. Also, the 2 officers are wearing some sort of armor or some sort of protective padding. Who knows what that's for? On the 23rd, another talk with the showrunners revealed how they supposedly ditched a long-lasting Star Trek rule. Essentially, when Gene Roddenberry created Star Trek, he wanted the officers on board Starfleet ships to represent the best of humanity. They were to be an example of what we could one day become. Crew members didn't have any major conflicts with each other, only with external threats. This applies mostly to the original series, the animated series, and the Next Generation. But it frustrated writers. Drama, especially TV drama, is often created by having conflicts between the main characters. So I've got a couple of things to say about this. Firstly, I don't care whether main characters clash or not. All I want is the show to be great. So this so-called rule, if they want to throw it out the window, why not? As long as we still get the utopian vision of a better future. I just find it interesting they went out of their way to mention this, considering Deep Space Nine and Enterprise have already done it before. Secondly, why not accept the challenge? In a world where TV drama revolves around people cheating on each other and people killing each other, why not try to create a show where the cast stands united? Why take the route of internal conflict? As usual though, my opinion isn't worth 2 cents because the show hasn't come out yet. We'll just have to wait and see. Now all these drops of information Entertainment Weekly have been releasing on their website came from an exclusive 3-page article they had in their latest magazine. I purchased it, I read it, and here's what's worth mentioning. Gretchen J. Berg explained how Star Trek-wise the original series and The Next Generation were the main inspirations for Discovery. Later on, Harbert said this about having a first officer hero. The joy is in the journey. The advantage to her not being in charge right now is we get to tell stories from a very different point of view. Notice the right now. Then the two showrunners talked very vaguely about the plot. They mentioned something they're calling the second pilot. Essentially, they're breaking the story down into 2 parts. The first one is how Michael Burnham got to the Discovery. The second part is her story on the Discovery. The last interesting fact is Sonequa Martin Green binge-watched episodes from all of the Star Trek shows before she began filming. She says it helped her understand Vulcan nature and how it balances out with human emotions. She also mentioned the original series was her favorite. Ending this update is a bit of social media footage. Doug Jones tweeted a video explaining that he hurt his shoulder in an action sequence, so good news and bad news. I'm sad he hurt himself and I wish him a speedy recovery, but it's going to be awesome to see action sequences with Lieutenant Saru. Jason Isaacs, on the other hand, posted this time-lapse video of him getting a lifecast. I don't know what they're going to use it for. All I can say is it doesn't seem fun. As usual, as I was editing this video, more news came up. Jonathan Frakes will be directing at least one of the episodes. This is really big news. I'm really happy about it. He directed First Contact, which is one of my favorite Star Trek films. Okay, that's it for this month. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and live long and prosper.